Well, you know what day it is. Let's hit it. Back to the Future Part 3 is the best example of how you can end a franchise. It really is, I will admit. Now, unlike the last two videos, I'm going to keep this very brief and very short since, obviously, all of you are very busy out there. I understand. So, I'll just summarize the plot for you. Like the last film, it pretty much takes place during the ending of the last film. So pretty much, Marty's still stuck in the 50s. Doc is stuck a century ahead of him. Or before him, sorry. So, what happens at the beginning is that he has to discuss with 1950s Doc to help him get back to 1885. And then eventually, there you go, he's finally in 1885. Only problem? No fuel! There's no plutonium. No, sorry, not plutonium. There's no trash. There's no trash, yeah. Because of Mr. Fusion, the fact that it needs trash and other recyclable waste, it's stuck. It's just stuck there. So pretty much, Marty not only has to deal with that, but he also has to deal with one of Biff's ancestors, Buford Mad Dog Tannen. And so after finding Doc, they eventually hatch the plan. However, here's what I kind of love about this film. Just like the first one, it kind of takes its sweet moments. Unlike the second one, which it's all over the place. And I kind of like that. Though instead of Marty, it's Doc. Both roles have been switched. Doc is the more calm, wiser one who wants to find love. Meanwhile, Marty is the more eccentric one. With both their roles being switched for this movie, I kind of love that. It clearly shows what happens if their brains are swapped. And that's clearly the case. Unfortunately, Doc has to kind of leave that Western life behind because, well, he's done enough damage to the space-time continuum already alongside Marty. So, he finally says that he can't really be with her because of how he's from the future. And he's heartbroken. And what do you know? Marty has to fight Buford Tannen. So, win-win. In which Marty wins the battle. Both him and Doc catch the train in which the DeLorean is attached. Eventually, Doc's future wife eventually decides to go with him. Unfortunately, that's kind of a skedaddle, as I'm sure a lot of you who are watching are very aware. So then, Doc kind of stays behind in 1885 with his loved one. So eventually, Marty travels back to 1985, October 27th. Eventually, Marty sees his love, and eventually, finally, they're together. Yeah, it's official. A lot of relationships, I know. And so, after confronting Marty's potential future manager, he decides that pretty much he knows what the outcome is and decides to completely ignore the pressure. Which is great. That's very sweet. That's very sweet, the fact that you decided to let it all go. Unfortunately, the time machine is wrecked. Doc is still stuck in the past yet again. And so, it's kind of bittersweet. It really is. However, no, when it comes to Emmett Brown himself, the man is a true scientist at heart. As he returns, and he says goodbye for now to Marty and his high school sweetheart. And that is the end. I really love it. And the fact that pretty much Your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one. Both of you it's a really sincere message. I really love that. Now, do I think it's better than the first one? No. First one's always going to be a classic. Do I think it's better than the second one? Absolutely, but there's just some things that I do kind of nitpick with that makes the sequel, sadly, a bit stand out more. But if I'm going to be honest, part 3 is bittersweet. It's a melancholy ending to the series that I absolutely adored as a child. Ever since I stopped watching those movies, I still remember all the iconic quotes from Great Scott to 1.21 gigawatts to roads where we're going, we don't need roads, and your future's whatever you make it, so make it a good one. Those memories will still live on in my head for as long as I live. The films have clearly made an impact on me in so many good ways. And I cannot thank enough for the director Robert Zemeckis, Amblin Entertainment, the company who produced it, alongside You Drive Joint Productions, and alongside the writer Bob Gale. And so, that, my friends, is the Back to the Future trilogy discussion. I really had a fun time enjoying this. Even though it was brief and to the point, that's kind of how I wanted to do this, since I did not have enough time. October has been pretty busy for me, and obviously, of course, I don't really have the time anymore. So it was great to see how, in the span of almost a week, I was able to crunch in all this time to put into the thought of this video. So with that, I'll leave you to it. And farewell, time travelers. One more thing.
Great Scott. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. And finally, your future is wherever you make it. So make it a good one. All of you. Peace out, everyone. And time travelers.